What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports, and we are here on the SEC channel at the Voice of College Football. We continue to give you a very early projected record for each team in the SEC. Ole Miss is up next. Before we look at 2022, let's look back at our projections from 2021. Here were the projections from 2021. You see Ole Miss at 10-2. Our prediction and our projection both 8-4 for this team. The FBI projection was 7.2 and 4.8, and the over/under was 7.5. So our prediction and again projection at 8-4 was a little bit high compared to some of the other predictions, and they wound up exceeding that, going 10-2. Just a great year for Ole Miss last year. I had a feeling this was going to happen. I did quite pull the trigger on a 10-2 season, but if you go back to my thoughts on this team in the preseason last year, I was really high on them. The schedule was a little bit tricky. I didn't know if they could get much higher than 8-4, but they proved me wrong. They did it, and a really great year for them. Now let's see what the projection is for 2022. Here is the schedule again, and here's the scale that we will be using. You'll have your 50-50 games. They're going to stay in the white, less than 20% in the red, over 80% in the green, 20 to 29% in orange. That's a game where a team is going, and you can kind of compare that to the 71-80%. Those are games where I think the spread is going to be at double digits, a 10 to 14 point spread somewhere in there. And then your 30 to 39, 61 to 70% games, those are the games where I think the spread will be about a touchdown, 6, 7, 8 points, somewhere in that range. And again, your 50-50 games, that's where it's 3, 4, 5 points, just a very small spread. So that's just kind of a way to look at it. Let's look at the easy wins first for Ole Miss. I think you've got 4 of them: Troy, Central Arkansas, Tulsa, and Vanderbilt. Now, all these games are not the same. Central Arkansas is closer to 100%, whereas Vanderbilt on the road is probably closer to 80%. But I still think Ole Miss is good enough. There's a big enough gap where they should not have any problem with Vanderbilt. So you've got 4 wins almost guaranteed. Not guaranteed, but almost guaranteed. And when you get 4 wins that you should be able to get, that's going to help out. And again, with Ole Miss, with their schedule, getting to play Vanderbilt is a very nice thing. Very nice thing for the Rebels. So how about the games where we're going to go in the blue? I think we have one blue game. That's Georgia Tech. Look, it's on the road. It's against a Power 5 team. Georgia Tech hasn't been great, but they've been better than Vanderbilt. And they've got a quarterback coming back. They've got a few pieces to where that game is not quite in the green for me. It's close. It's really close. But honestly, if we put this game in the green, it wouldn't change the projection. So no big deal there. Again, if you want to say that this is a green game, that's fine. It will not change the projection. So that's the one game where I think they'll be favored by 10 to 14 points, probably in that matchup, but not going to be favored by 20 or anything like that. So you have one game, another game here where I think they'll be favored, clear favorites. That's Auburn. It's at home. I think they'll be favored by about a touchdown. I realize that Auburn beat them last year, but this time it's a home game for Ole Miss. Auburn's not looking like one of the top teams in the SEC this year. Ole Miss, I think, potentially is in the top half of the SEC again this season. So I think we can put that game in the purple. Like I said, I think Ole Miss will be favored by 6 or 7 points in that one, and we can put it there in the purple. So how about games where they're going to be underdogs? I think you got Texas A&M. I think they'll be about a touchdown underdog in this game. It's on the road, tough place to play. Texas A&M, a very talented team, a very talented roster, and so I think Ole Miss will be a little bit of an underdog in that game, so we'll put it in the yellow, and then there'll be a bigger underdog, I think, against Alabama, 20 to 29% range. I think it's closer to 29 than 20, but I cannot quite put this in the yellow. I just think Alabama is going to be that good with everything they had coming back, and Ole Miss, they do have some pieces to replace. It's not like they have everyone coming back, so I'm going to put this in the orange. Maybe you put that in the yellow. Again, I don't think that's really going to change the number here at the end of the day, but I do have that game in the orange. So then you have 4 more games here: Kentucky, LSU, Arkansas, and Mississippi State. Those are your 50-50 games, in my opinion. You have Kentucky at home, going to be a good team, a top 15 team in my opinion. LSU on the road, a lot of question marks about LSU. Not sure how good they're really going to be, but we all know how tough it is to play there, and they're going to have a talented roster. So I don't think you can say that Ole Miss is going to be a clear favorite in that game. Arkansas on the road will be very tough. I'd probably favor Arkansas by a field goal, but not enough to bump that one up past the 50-50 range. And the Mississippi State's the Egg Bowl. I like Ole Miss at home. You like their chances in that game. maybe you put this one in the purple, but Mississippi State's got some key pieces coming back this year. And again, it's the Egg Bowl. It's a rivalry. You never know what's going to happen in this game. So I think that's a 50-50 game. So with those 4 50-50 games, that's where it's probably going to determine that those 4 games are going to determine if Ole Miss has another really good year, another 10-2 type season, or perhaps a more average 7-5, 8-4 type year. What can they do in those 4 games? I don't really see them beating Alabama. Texas A&M possibly, but then again, they could possibly lose to Auburn. And so when you average all of this out, and we count the green games as wins, we count the white games as 50%. If it's in the orange, it's 25, yellow 35, purple 65, blue 75. And when you average all that out, the projection for Ole Miss is 8-4. So just like last year, an 8-4 projection. If things go their way, if they can win some of these close games, I think they can do better than that. But that, I think, is the goal for Ole Miss. You want to get to at least 8-4. If they go better than 8-4, I think it's a really good year once again for the Rebels. Do you guys agree? Do you disagree? Give me your thoughts. Give me your projection down in the comments below. And thank you for watching this video.